When you pour a glass of Hanaabi sake, the very first thing that hits you is the aroma. It smells remarkably like a ripe, tropical pineapple. Expectations for the beverage. That sharp harmony of acidity and tropical fruit has turned this specific bottle into a global phenomenon, commanding fierce loyalty from enthusiasts who hunt it down as a rare premium sake. You might expect a product with this kind of international footprint to come from a massive, modern facility, but it actually originates in Saitama Prefecture, inside the walls of Nanyo Brewery, a deeply traditional operation founded in 1860. A 140-year-old institution, run entirely by a tiny family team, engineered one of the most radically modern profiles on the global market. Despite its current prestige, this celebrated sake almost never existed. In fact, a couple of decades ago, the entire brewery was staring down permanent closure. This chart tracks domestic sake consumption in Japan. By the early 2000s, you can see a steady, brutal decline. That plunging line represented a localized economic vacuum, and it pushed historic regional producers like Nanyo Brewery to the brink. Takaharu Tsunaga, the fifth-generation head of the family, faced a choice: quietly shutter his ancestors' business or figure out how to survive. In 2003, Tsunaga and his family made a massive gamble. They halted their standard production line and committed absolutely everything to brewing the most innovative sake they could possibly imagine. They called this new creation Hanaabi. The name carries a specific intention: to bathe in the rays of the sun and let a large flower bloom. This tropical profile was the result of a family choosing to brew exactly what they were proud of, a decision made when their traditional business model could no longer sustain the brewery's survival. How exactly does a struggling regional brewery engineer a flavor profile sharp enough to capture worldwide attention? The answer is entirely structural. There is no giant factory hidden behind the scenes. The entire production relies on an elite team of exactly 3 people. The workforce consists of Takaharu Tsunaga, his sister Yasuo Watanabe, and her husband Ryosaku Watanabe, who serves as the toji, the master brewer directing the operation. This workflow diagram illustrates their advantage. On the left, standard industrial brewing divides workers into specialized departments. On the right, Nanyo's shared task system unites 3 family members. By working together on everything from water absorption to pressing, they execute flawless quality control. This intense methodology comes with a hard limit. They cap production at roughly 200 to 250 koku, about 45,000 liters, per year, refusing to expand their output despite chronic global shortages of their product. Their tiny size isn't a limitation they are trying to overcome. This hyper-focused 3-person bottleneck is the mandatory requirement for maintaining Hanaabi's exact specifications. The foundation of their flavor starts with water. Pumped directly from the Tone and Arakawa rivers, this soft subsurface water yields a transparent, mellow sweetness. But shaping that sweetness requires their core technical philosophy, an absolute reliance on manual labor to sharpen the brewer's 5 senses. You see this clearly when they make koji, the mold-inoculated rice driving fermentation. They use the traditional Hako-koji method, working entirely within small wooden boxes. No automated temperature sensors are used. The brewers physically touch the koji, using sensory feedback from their fingertips, making microscopic adjustments in real time. Once the sake is pressed and bottled without filtration or pasteurization, it is strictly isolated in near-freezing environments to trap the delicate aromas. That explosive, juicy pineapple note cannot be programmed by industrial machinery. It exists only because of the physical touch and accumulated sensory mastery of 3 specific individuals. The 2003 gamble achieved its goal. The family saved their brewery, secured their financial future, and earned the freedom to look outward into their community again. With their legacy secure, they developed a secondary pure rice sake brand called Inosato. They named it after Bushu Aizome, the traditional indigo dyeing craft native to their hometown of Hanyu City. While Hanaabi constantly pushes the boundaries of aroma, Inosato was designed specifically to be a subtle, perfect food pairing sake that drives recognition back to local cultural industries. They transitioned from an isolated entity fighting for survival into an active community pillar, even stepping up as official sponsors for local youth sports like the Mariners Baseball Club. The radical pivot to create a luxury product ensured that a 140-year-old cultural anchor remained alive and fully engaged with the city around it. The family stared down the total extinction of their heritage, and they responded by engineering one of the most vibrant, globally respected bottles in the modern sake world. The specific flavor of Hanaabi is the physical evidence of their transition to a system where every variable, from fermentation heat to pressing time, is managed by the three people who have the most at stake. The name Hanaabi reflects a direct line between the arduous, freezing labor of the three makers and the warmth experienced by the person holding the glass. Their ultimate mission is simple: to ensure that with every drop, flowers of joy will bloom for both the drinker and the maker. True modern luxury rarely comes from an industrial scale. It is found in the unwavering, hands-on passion of a tiny team refusing to let their legacy fade.